my beloved child, before you saw the door open with your own eyes. I had already heard the trembling cry of your heart in the long nights no one knew about. There were times when you thought you were merely passing through quiet, meaningless days. But it was precisely in that silence that I was laying the first stones for the new journey you are about to enter. I never allow a single tear of yours to fall in vain, nor do I let any sincere prayer disappear into empty space. I have heard your prayer and seen your tears, as I once spoke in 2 Kings 25. What you call waiting is in truth the time in which I have been quietly preparing a gift greater than anything your heart had ever imagined. Many times you looked up at the sky and wondered whether I still remembered you. But my beloved child, how could the one who created you ever forget the breath shaped by his own hands before you knew how to call my name? I had already called yours before you walked upon this earth. I had already seen the whole journey of your life. Not one moment you go through is outside my sight. I have loved you with an everlasting love, as in Jeremiah 31:3. And that love is never diminished, not even once. When you were weak, I was still there. When you were disappointed because doors closed before you, I was quietly keeping you from stepping into places that would wound your soul. There are things I didn't allow to happen. Not because I had abandoned you, but because I was protecting your future with a hand wiser than all human understanding. So today, I want you to stop seeing yourself as a lost soul in this vast world. You are not invisible before my eyes. You are like a small lamp I have placed in the darkness, and even when you yourself sometimes do not recognize the light you carry, I still see it shining in the spiritual realm. The prayers you whispered in loneliness reached heaven like precious fragrance. Perhaps you once thought I was silent, but my silence has never been indifference. Sometimes I remain quiet, only so that your faith may take deeper root, just like a seed lying beneath the dark soil before rising into a great tree. Your soul is also being prepared for a season of blossoming beyond anything you have ever imagined. Remember the widow of Zarephath in the days of Elijah, when drought covered the land. She had only a handful of flour and a little oil left. All hope seemed to have faded. Yet it was precisely in her moment of deepest lack that I opened the way for a miracle. She chose to trust my word instead of surrendering to fear. And that jar of oil did not run dry until the rain returned to the land. You are the same, my beloved child. There are times when you look at your life and see only limitations. But I see the abundance waiting to be released. I am not limited by your circumstances. I do not need perfect conditions to perform a miracle. What I seek in you is a heart that can still hold on to faith in the days that seem most empty. Even now, I am working in things your eyes cannot yet see. There are encounters I am arranging. There are doors I am quietly opening. There are answers you thought had come too late. But in truth, they are drawing very near to you. For I know the plans I have for you, plans for peace and not for harm. For I know the plans I have for you, plans for peace and not for harm. As in Jeremiah 29:11, I am not leading you in order to lose you along the way. I am leading you to the place where your soul will be restored and your future will be opened. What is coming is not punishment, but renewal, not an ending, but the beginning I have prepared for you long ago. The enemy always wants you to believe that you are too small, too late, too wounded to be used for something great. But I once used young David with a simple sling to defeat Goliath. I once used Moses, who thought his speech was inadequate to lead an entire nation through the Red Sea. I did not choose you because you are perfect. I chose you because I see what you will become when you place your hand in mine. And when I call someone, I also give that person strength. When I open a way, no power on earth can shut it. I know there are nights when you are so weary that you only want to let everything go. There are moments when you pray, yet your heart is still full of confusion. But even then, I am still sitting beside you, like a father who stays awake through the night for the child he loves. I do not despise your weakness. On the contrary, the place where you are most broken is often the place where my light can enter most easily. My power is made perfect in weakness, as written in 2 Corinthians 12:9. Do not be ashamed of your tears. Some of the most beautiful prayers are not spoken with the lips, but by a heart softened before me. Then the day will come when you look back and understand that every winding step carried meaning. The closed doors saved you from the wrong paths. The seasons of waiting made your soul more mature. The times when you thought you had been forgotten were actually the moments when I was writing the most beautiful chapter, one you did not yet have the vision to read. Just as Joseph had to pass through the pit and the prison before entering the palace, you too are being led through a process so that you may become stronger and wiser. Nothing I allow to happen is meaningless. So now let your heart be at peace. Do not run ahead of me in anxiety, and do not stand still in fear. Simply take each step with trust. I am before you, behind you, and right beside you. My arm has never left your life, not even for a single moment. What I have promised I will bring to pass. What I have begun in you, I will complete at the most beautiful appointed time. And when the door I have prepared to open appears before your eyes, you will understand that every tear, every prayer, and every season of waiting has been leading you to this sacred moment. The moment you realize that you have always been loved, always been chosen, and never once forgotten in my eternal heart. My beloved child, let your heart become still and receive what I am whispering in this moment. For not every encounter between you and me comes with thunder rolling across the heavens. Many times grace enters very gently, like a soft breeze touching a weary soul. I do not call you near to condemn you, nor do I bring you into this moment to place another burden upon your shoulders. I come as a merciful father bending down beside the child he loves to place a new hope in your hands, to rekindle in your eyes the light that had once been dimmed by difficult days. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest, as written in Matthew 11:28. And today, that word is not far from you, but is opening right before you like a door of peace. Do not be afraid when I invite you to go deeper, because the path I open is not meant to make you lose yourself, but to help you rediscover the noblest part I placed within you from the very beginning. Perhaps you have grown used to living within the limits others placed upon you, or the limits quietly built inside your heart by old pain. But my child, what humanity calls impossible is not my boundary. When the Red Sea stood before my people, they thought they had reached the end of the road. But with one word from me, the waters parted, and dry ground appeared in the very place where there seemed to be no way. In the same way, where you see a dead end, I have already prepared a path. Where you think you are weak, I have already placed strength. Where you believe everything is closed, I am beginning to write a new chapter with the ink of mercy. Therefore, do not rush to compare your journey with anyone else's. Every soul has its own season of blooming beneath my sunlight. The lilies of the field do not compete in beauty with the cedars upon the mountains, yet both are cared for perfectly by my hand. Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. as Matthew 6:28 reminds you that true beauty does not come from striving against others, but from remaining within my loving care. What I am giving to you does not need to resemble what I give to someone else, because you were not created to be a faded copy. You carry a unique mark, a unique calling, and a unique path that I myself have carved out in eternal wisdom. There is a story I want you to remember. When I called Samuel in the night, the young boy did not yet understand that the voice calling him came from heaven. He thought Eli was calling him. So again and again he ran to the priest. But when his heart was finally guided to answer, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening," a prophetic life began through that humble willingness to hear. Do you see, my child? Sacred moments often do not begin with dazzling displays that capture the attention of the world. They begin with a soul willing to pause, willing to listen, willing to answer me with trust. Today, I am not asking you to do something great before the eyes of others. I only ask that you do not ignore the gentle calling touching the deepest place within you, the brief moments before you may seem to pass quickly in human time. But in the spiritual realm, a single act of surrender is enough to redirect an entire life. Mary's one word of yes opened the way for the Savior to come into the world. Peter's single step out of the boat allowed him to experience my power upon the water. One touch of faith from the woman who had suffered for many years drew forth healing that the crowd around her didn't even perceive. So do not take lightly what is happening within your heart. When you open yourself, grace finds a place to flow in. When you stop closing yourself off because of fear, light finds a way to enter the dark rooms of your soul. I know there have been days when you doubted your worth. There were times when you wondered whether your life truly carried meaning, whether your quiet efforts were ever seen, whether the holy dreams within you would ever come to life. My beloved child, I see it all. Not one good seed you have sown have I forgotten. Not one trembling prayer you have lifted up have I treated lightly. Before they call, I will answer. As Isaiah 65:24 reveals to you that my love always moves ahead of your fears. You do not need to prove yourself worthy of my love, because that love is not purchased by your achievements. It flows from my eternal nature. Now lift up your eyes. Do not allow carelessness, weariness, or the noise around you to make you miss the grace that is passing by. There are doors that do not open through strength, but through attentiveness. There are blessings that cannot be received through haste, but through a heart willing to stand still before me. Be still, and know that I am God. As Psalm 46:10 declares, and that stillness is not emptiness, but a sacred space where you can hear my footsteps more clearly. When your heart stops running after fear and anxiety, you will realize that I have been far closer than you ever imagined. What I place before you is not a vague promise, but a confirmation that your life still rests within my plan. The days ahead do not belong to darkness, for I am the one who holds your tomorrow. You will no longer have to live as someone driven by fear, but as one sustained by love. I will teach you to see circumstances with new eyes, to walk with renewed faith, and to embrace the future with a heart that has been healed. When you look back on this journey, you will understand that the very moment you chose to open your heart today became the beginning of a quiet yet profound transformation. So come near to me, my beloved child. Do not close your ears to words of love. Do not turn away from the hand reaching out to you. And do not allow old fears to decide in place of new faith. I have not come to take away your peace. I have come to restore it. I have not come to make you smaller. I have come to remind you that you were created for the light. Receive the hope I give. Receive the strength I pour out. Receive the vision I am opening before you, and within that holy gentleness, you will know with certainty that I am holding all things, that you have never walked alone, and that what I have begun in you will be completed at my most beautiful appointed time. My beloved child, do not let your heart hurry away while the sacred door still stands open before you. There are things in life that are given only to those who know how to remain long enough to listen with their whole soul. When you patiently stay within my presence, every word I speak no longer becomes merely a sound passing through your ears, but holy oil feeding the flame within you, just as the 5 wise virgins kept their lamps filled with oil while waiting for the bridegroom. I am also teaching you to prepare your soul for the new season that is drawing near. Watch, therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour, as Matthew 25:13 says, is not a word meant to fill you with fear, but a gentle reminder that those who know how to wait in faith will not enter darkness when the sacred moment arrives. There have been seasons when your heart felt dry like land, untouched by rain for a long time. You continued to pray. You continued to walk forward. Yet deep within, you felt weary because you could not yet see change. But my child, my river has never stopped flowing. When you open your heart before me, the living water from heaven quietly seeps into the most cracked and broken places within your soul. Whoever drinks the water I give them will never thirst again. As John 4:14 declares, because my water does not merely soothe temporary thirst, but it transforms your soul into a spring continually overflowing with life. I do not want you simply to hear and then forget like someone standing outside the door. I want my word to sink deeply into every thought, every wound, and every dream you once buried away. Until you yourself are renewed from within, do not regard these moments as just another passing message among the countless voices you hear each day. There are words spoken by human understanding, but there are also words that carry the breath of heaven. When I touch your soul, it is no longer mere knowledge but life itself. It is the covenant of love that I have patiently placed before the door of your heart through many years. From the time Abraham looked up at the star-filled sky in the darkness of night, until this very day, I remain the faithful God, the one who keeps his promises through every generation. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. As Luke 21:33 declares, therefore, what I am planting in your heart today is not something fleeting, but a seed of eternity. My beloved child, the path I am opening before you is not like the roads the world builds through ambition and rivalry. It is not paved with pride, but with peace. It is not built upon deception, but upon truth. I am leading you into a journey where your soul learns how to walk with me, rather than chase after things that quickly fade away. Remember Enoch, who walked with God until the world could no longer find him. The secret of his life was not power or fame, but a deep communion with me each day. That is also what I desire for you. Not a life merely filled with religious activity, but a heart truly close to me, so that every step you take carries the light of heaven. Perhaps you once dreamed of great things, and later felt disappointed when they did not come to pass. But I want you to understand that truly beautiful desires are never born from selfishness. They are refined through tears, through waiting through the moments when you continue believing even without seeing results. A seed must remain buried beneath dark soil before it rises into a harvest. Your faith is the same. The prayers you have offered in silence have not been lost. They are growing within the unseen realm. Those who sow in tears shall reap with joy, as Psalm 126:5 declares. And the day will come when the very things you once cried over will become the reasons you bow your head in gratitude. Think of the boy who carried 5 loaves and 2 fish among the great crowd. In human eyes, it was far too little to make any difference. Yet once it was placed into my hands, it became a miracle that fed thousands. You are the same, my beloved child. Perhaps you look at yourself and see only limitations, but I see the potential of a soul willing to offer me what it has. What you surrender with sincerity, I will multiply beyond every human calculation. I do not need your perfection. I desire your trusting heart. And as you continue walking along the path I lead you upon, you will begin to realize that the most precious thing I give is not merely visible blessings, but the transformation taking place within you. The fear that once imprisoned you will gradually lose its power. The thoughts that caused you to doubt yourself will be scattered by the light of truth. You will learn to look at the future not through anxious eyes, but through the eyes of hope. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. As written in John 14:27, that peace does not depend upon circumstances, because it is founded upon my presence. Therefore, my beloved child, do not leave the flow of grace too soon. Remain long enough for your soul to be refreshed. Let my word soak deeply into you as rain sinks into softened earth. Every moment you open your heart before me is a moment your soul is being prepared for something greater ahead. There are doors waiting to open. There are promises drawing near to fulfillment. There are harvests quietly growing from the seeds you have sown in faith. And when that moment comes, you will look back upon this day and understand that it was precisely in the moments when you chose to pause and listen to me that a new world began to be born within your soul. My beloved child, long before you came to know yourself, I already saw you among the countless souls upon the earth. My eyes did not rest upon you by accident, but I deliberately called your name from within my eternal purpose. When many people saw only smallness in you, I saw a flame hidden beneath the ashes of difficult years. And my child, because I see what others cannot see, I have never abandoned you. I have called you by your name. You are mine. As Isaiah 43:1 declares, you are not the product of chance, nor a soul forgotten within the vast flow of life. You are part of a plan I have carried in love and wisdom from the very beginning. I know there have been seasons when you walked through such dry and barren lands that your heart felt it no longer had the strength to keep hoping. There were nights when you remained silent because you were too weary even to pray. There were moments when you looked around and could see no sign that tomorrow would be any different from today. But my beloved child, it is precisely in those seasons that seem lifeless that I am working most deeply within you. A seed does not sprout upon noisy ground. It grows in darkness, in silence beneath the soil that people often mistake for a burial place. Your faith is the same. The trials you endure are not meant to destroy you, but to drive your roots deeper into me. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life. As written in James 1:12, remember Gideon, who once hid in the winepress out of fear of the enemy in his own eyes. He was the smallest in his father's house, weak and incapable. Yet when my angel appeared to him, the very first words I called him were, "Mighty warrior." Do you see, my child? I do not call you according to your present limitations. I call you according to what I know you will become when you walk with me. Gideon believed he was not enough, yet I used him to deliver an entire nation. In the same way, you may be looking at yourself, through eyes filled with hesitation, but I see within you a witness of grace, a lamp capable of bringing light into places you never imagined you could reach. So do not underestimate the flame quietly burning within you. Perhaps the winds of life have weakened it at times. Perhaps disappointment has covered it with ashes. But it has never gone out. I'm the one who lit that flame. And what I have begun will not be extinguished by darkness. There are souls who live their entire lives without ever knowing what they were called for. But my child, deep within your heart, you have always sensed that this life must hold a meaning greater than mere existence. That is the calling I placed within you. It is the flame of faithfulness, the longing for what is holy, the hope that refuses to surrender despite many wounds. Do not quench the Spirit. As 1 Thessalonians 5:19 says, because what I have breathed into your soul carries the life of heaven itself. Every word I am placing into your heart today is not meant for you simply to hear and forget, like passing wind. My word is a seed. When you receive it with faith, it will take root in your thoughts, your emotions, and the way you see yourself and your future. And then one day, you will realize that you are no longer the person who was once bound by fear. I will give you the courage to step beyond your comfort zone. Just as Abraham left his homeland without knowing where he was going, simply because he trusted the one who had called him. And through that faith, he became the father of many nations. My beloved child, there are miracles that appear only when you dare to walk with me without seeing the entire path ahead. Do not fear the trials that still lie before you. Steel does not become strong without passing through fire. A great tree cannot stand firm unless it has endured fierce winds and storms. In the same way, I do not allow you to face trials so that I may watch you fall, but so that I may reveal that my power is sufficient to sustain you in every circumstance. When Daniel was thrown into the lion's den, the miracle was not that he avoided danger, but that I was with him in the midst of it. So it will be with you. I do not promise that your life will be without storms, but I do promise that you will never walk through them alone when you pass through the waters. I will be with you. As Isaiah 43:2 declares, my beloved child, what I am giving you is not merely a word of encouragement to make you feel better for a moment. This is part of a heavenly plan designed specifically for your life. Everything you have gone through, every encounter, every door that is opened or closed is being connected into a larger picture of which you can now see only a few small pieces. But I see it all. I know which path will lead you to life, where your soul will blossom when you must wait, and when you need to step forward boldly. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. As Psalm 32:8 says, therefore, as you continue to listen to me, you are receiving guidance that surpasses human wisdom. The day will come when you stand in this world as living proof that I am still at work. Not because you are more perfect than others, but because you chose to trust me even in the most difficult and confusing seasons. People will see in you a light that does not come from this world. They will see a soul once broken, but now healed, once weak, but now standing firm, once confused, but now filled with peace. And then your life will become a song of praise to my power, clearer than 1,000 sermons. Therefore, today, my beloved child, hold fast to the flame I have placed within you. Do not let delay discourage you. Do not allow the voice of doubt to choke what I am sowing into your soul. Keep walking. Keep trusting. Keep listening. For the season of sprouting has already begun. The seeds you have sown in tears will soon blossom in joy. And when you look back on this journey, you will understand that every trial, every season of waiting and every word I speak today has been leading you to the very place I appointed for you from eternity. My beloved child, do not see the journey you are walking as merely repeated steps through ordinary days. In my eyes, every time you choose to keep trusting, even before you see results, every moment you remain, even when your heart is weary, you are like a pilgrim, taking one step after another toward the holy temple. There are pilgrimages that do not take place on roads of stone, but deep within the soul, where you learn to release fear, where you learn to walk by faith instead of temporary feelings. And my child, not one of your steps is meaningless. The steps of a righteous person are ordered by the Lord. Even when you think you are moving very slowly, I still see you drawing closer to the place I prepared for you long ago. Sometimes you do not realize that your quiet perseverance is transforming you day by day. Mountains are not formed in a single night, nor does a river carve deep channels through hard stone with only one passing flow. Yet drop by drop, persistent water changes the landscape over time. Your faith is the same. Each time you listen to me with an open heart, each time you choose to remain, instead of giving up something within you, is being built. I am leading you out of the old land of limitation and into the new land of hope and freedom. It is the place where your soul is no longer chained by negative words, painful memories, or the fear of failure. It is where you begin to see yourself through my eyes rather than through the judgment of the world. Remember the people of Israel as they passed through the wilderness. Many times they thought the journey was only weariness and delay. But in truth, I was preparing them for the promised land. If I had brought them in immediately without the process, they would not have been mature enough to hold what I was giving them. You are the same, my beloved child. There are doors I have not opened immediately because I am making your soul stronger than you realize. The wilderness is not a sign that I have abandoned you many times. It is the very place where I speak to you most intimately. Therefore, behold, I will lead her into the wilderness and speak tenderly to her. As Hosea 2:14 says, in that stillness, I teach you to hear my voice more clearly than all the noise of the world. So today, I do not want you merely to hear with physical ears and let my words pass by like a fleeting wind. I want you to listen with your soul. There is a great difference between someone who only hears information and someone who receives life. The first merely gathers knowledge, but the second is transformed from within. When my word takes root in your heart, it will become a light guiding you through your darkest days. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. As Psalm 119:105 declares, I do not simply want you to know about me. I want you to walk with me, so that your life may become part of the story of grace that heaven is writing. My beloved child, as you have heard my voice in this message, I am inviting you to take a simple step of faith today. If you believe that I am working behind the scenes and preparing something beautiful for your life, write the word Amen in the comments and declare it with your whole heart. Your agreement in faith can open the door for more of my power to move in your situation. Do not keep this hope only for yourself. If these words have touched your soul and reminded you that you are loved and not forgotten, like this video, and share it with someone who is still waiting in silence. When you share, you become a vessel of my light to someone who needs to know that their tears have not been in vain. I see every comment, every like, and every share as an act of trust, and I will bless the faith you show today. Go forward in peace, knowing that I am holding you and writing the next chapter of your story with mercy and love.